Welcome back channel, FIFA Mobile. Alright, how to get the Serie A team players. Apparently you can find my team or you can buy cheap players from markets. Alright, so before I go into sharing with you where to find those players, I'll just share you some of the price I got by playing after a couple of those matches in the UCL. Alright, so not too bad. I managed to get good number of these players, and definitely that will work into the exchange itself. Alright, so hopefully you've been playing consistently in your UCL to do up all this skill game and matches. That will allows you to collect more of that UCL points. Alright, so just your bet is mine. I always have at least 60 per day because there's a requirement on a daily basis. Alright, now very quickly let's enter into the heroes journeys. It has been open today, and apparently you can do all the 4 skill games. I'm going to share with you later on, but I think more importantly is where to get the players. Alright, so you go to my team and you select Serie A. Alright, so that's the one that's highlighted on the top right, and with that I have a good number of those players that I do not need to buy any. Alright, so I'm going to fit them into my lineup for sure. Just make sure there's an active lineup that you're having, definitely not the one you do VSA with, otherwise you'll lose out. So just put in your H2H lineup, and then fill it 4 players. You basically just need 4 of them in order to play all the matches all the way to the end. Alright, so there are a total of 5 matches to play in the hero's journey, so just make sure you have 4 numbers of the Serie A. So with that, of course, later on you put in a good subs, and eventually when the match started, you make sure you put in your subs to replace the low OVR players. Alright, so now I'm going to share with you where to get the players from the market. Alright, so again, same thing. You select under League Serie A, select the OVR maximum of 65. Why so? So that eventually you buy really cheap players that below 10,000 each. They're even maybe 4 or 5,000. It doesn't really matter. You only put in 4 numbers of them, and you can sub out 4 by 3. Alright, so you have 3 subs you can put in. Alright, so I think goalkeeper really a good idea, because generally you wouldn't hit there if you have really good players. The ball would never reach your goalkeeper. Just make sure you do not buy a couple of goalkeepers, because only one goalkeeper can work in to the lineup itself. Okay, so just make sure on that. So with that, you can see a couple of really cheap players. Of course, if you couldn't find any, you can actually hunt further. Let's say just now we couldn't find any at 65 below, so we got 66 and 70. Definitely there will be players allowed to you to buy. If not, you can always queue up, but I don't think that's really necessary, because eventually there will be players that came out at a reasonable price for you to buy. Just like I mentioned earlier, make sure you do not buy two or more goalkeepers. So you saw this player here, the 68 CDM is only 4,650. I think that's a steal. So imagine you just buy 4 numbers of that. It's only what, less than 20,000. So that will be good for you, and eventually you can get more rewards out of it. So definitely something to do. Make sure you do your hero's journey on a consistently in order to gain all those heroes points. Today I'll be going through with you in details in doing the skill games. Definitely not difficult at all. If you are new to FIFA Mobile, just make sure you hit the center for this one, because that's the loophole. I mean, there wouldn't be any obstacles that we're able to reach there. Neither can I reach the corners as well. Alright, so that skill game is easily done. Let's see what's next in the 4 number of skill games. This is number 2. Alright, so I think there's some people may have difficulty, but just make sure, I mean, you aim for the bottom ones. I think you'll be good. So just do this. I mean, if you aimed too high, you hit a top one, I think perfectly fine as well. But I think what I really want to share is that it's relatively easy. You have 5 attempts. You just need to hit 3 times. I think there's a really easy skill games to do with. Next, let's see what's up for the next one. All right, so before we enter into the match itself, let's see the next skill game. I think it's by passing. Alright, so that's relatively easy as well. Just do a quick pass, and then you just do a fitness shot. Alright, so that's about it. Alright, so there's 2 so-called passing 2 on 1. Let's see the final skill game. What is it about? All right, so this is a race. All right, just be careful when you come to this opponent race. Just slow down a bit. That you are really having good players to run. So make sure you do not hit onto the obstacles. Otherwise, you'll be penalized in terms of timing. Sometimes you may even a glitch and you're stuck there. So apparently your players are definitely better runners. So need not worry. You just take your own sweet time. You always cross the line eventually. All right. So those are the four skill games in total, and of course with that we gain more of those hero points. All right. So hero points definitely would allows you eventually to claim more players, and of course eventually you're able to claim keys to unlock phase 6, which will come probably in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure. So I mentioned earlier, important for you to switch in your good players. Just switch out the three subs. You have four number of low OVR Serie A players. Just switch in three good ones that you're always having in your lineups to in the start of the event, if you prefer. I mean, start of competition. So this is a very long match itself. So in this competition against this MIL, is a good like another 65 minutes or so. Definitely no issue in getting equalizer and of course a winning goal as well. So you're gonna make sure be patient. You're perfectly fine. Just make sure you do not spend too much in getting players because that's definitely not worth it. Like I mentioned, spend like target a budget of 20,000 for four number of players, of let's say 5,000 each. I think that'll be good enough. I mean, it's relatively cheap, and eventually those players you can sell off again and probably just make a loss of probably 1-2,000 or so. So I think that's perfectly fine in order just to complete this hero's journey. So this will be the last match. Hopefully you can get it really fast. It's sometimes quite frustrating. I mean, the AI you got to watch out. Just sometimes it's the last match, so slightly difficult, but definitely doable as well. So you need not be really concerned with this match. Just make sure do a lot of passing, and if possible, then pass before you strike, or you make a skill move before you strike, because that would distract the AI. All right, so I'm going to swap in my better players right now. We had a midpoint of 45 minutes, and first half has gone, and very quickly with really good strikers. There's no concern at all. Just now I was using the really weak players, but again, with this better players, let's see how we fare. All right, so we just need to score one more winning goal. We need not be greedy on that. So with that, then we would end this dreadful, well, very long skill game matches for a hero's journey. Sometimes it's a time-consuming issue. EA just want you to stay online for too long, so I prefer not to. Just try my best to do whatever is needed for the day. It's really tiring sometimes, but nonetheless, for the Serie journeys, it's important. You got to do it because eventually, when Phase 6 comes about, I think we can make millions of dollars trying to claim those players. And even if you can't sell, it's good probably then to get a 111 OVR. So Phase 6 will be releasing with, I believe, 111 OVR of the heroes, and then just like Phase 5, I think we made a good number of profits. I mean, easily tens of millions from these players, and of course, you could really keep those players in the UCL, be it the Serie A or be it the other leagues itself that's required. Probably, I guess, just guessing. I mean, what would be the most popular league required? All right, so I think Premier League seems to be the one is most required in terms of the heroes exchanges. So you bear in mind, generally, when Phase 6 unlocks, you need the keys to do it. That's one. You'll be playing skill games and matches, and then eventually unlock an exchange. With that exchange unlocked, then you need to have sufficient players, which normally you talk about heroes players. There'll be league requirement players depending on that hero. It could be a Premier League, or it could be a Serie A, and then, or it could be Uber Eats. Then eventually, with that, then you're going to exchange for the players that are required. You could do a lot of math in terms of not overspending in buying those players. It's best you keep those really cheap ones, like the UCL. I think that's free. Those 100 OVR that's useless, do not throw into the exchange for the transfer points. That's my advice, because it's not really worth it. Transfer points, you can do it for the UCL event itself. There's no way in putting good number of the 100 OVR UCL players for transfer points for a little bit of that. Totally not worth it. Keep it for the Heroes Journey Phase 6. Alright, so thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Any questions, put in the comments. Goodbye.